Landfall Games returns with Wings Interactive in tow.
After hiding so long, they finally let the truth show.
The devil's in the details. Evil Landfall seals their fate.
When it comes to censoring criticism, they do not hesitate. Oh boy, did Master find a rabbit hole.
No, you didn't hear me incorrectly, guys. So you may remember a while back that Raven and I exposed Wings Interactive, a consulting firm, a firm that helps fund like marginalized developers that was connected to Sweet Baby Inc. because they had Kim Belair on the board. And we found that they were in the same location as Landfall Games. And we made this public in a video.
And then overnight, Wings Interactive deleted their entire online presence.
Now, they've come back since then, slowly, right? But one of the things that we mentioned about the fallout was that Landfall Games confirmed that we were correct. How did they do so? By blocking me and Raven.
Well, they only blocked me after I asked them to, so that they could be, diverse and inclusive and block a woman.
So we revealed a lot of things, but we really couldn't understand if we weren't doing anything wrong, then why did you have to block us? So we had pointed out in our video that there were a bunch of different companies all out of the same location, one of which was called Vingar Interactive AB, which translates to Wings Interactive. And we confirmed from Audrey LaPrince, the co-founder of Wings Interactive, that 100% that Landfall Games did in fact fund them.
And this is how I thought about Wings. And I'm like, I'm going to go get the money and give it directly to the women to make games. Just cut everything else, just focus on that. This is how it started, and I was trying to make it work with women in games in France, talking to the BPI, the French banks and stuff, and it didn't go very well. And at the same time, Peter from Landfall Studios here in Sweden was trying to do the same. And then we kept bumping into each other and like, it's not working. Right? And then we decided to do it together, and then boom, it started. Got the first investment from Landfall Games, and then Riot just also granted us $1 million to invest in different projects like a few weeks ago or months ago now.
And funny enough, Landfall Games also gave the initial donation to fund Reloaded recently.
What happened is we launched Semblance in 2018, did very well critically, but not very well financially. We didn't recoup the investment from the publisher, and then me and Sugar, my co-founder, we were prototyping ideas, trying to figure out like what the next thing was, and then we actually both made functional prototypes, and then we showed them to our friends, our Swedish friends at Landfall, and we were like, "What do you think of these?" And they were both like, "These both suck." But I had another idea for a game, which was just a pitch line and a piece of concept art. And I showed them that, and they were like, "You should make this." I sort of lucked into getting a cut of a deal I didn't really have any reason to get from basically a finder's fee, I guess, which was pretty lucky. And then from that, I actually got a loan, I think it was roughly $70,000 from Landfall, our Swedish friends.
Like it's all connected.
And I had an insider at Wings who alerted us and let us know that they were freaking out behind the scenes, and they blamed it on Gamergate and said that we're all harassing them and whatever. Wings justified deleting their social media and public presence as necessary to protect themselves and the developers from supposed harassment. But now, guys, all this time later, Landfall Games is back. Why are they back? Because they've rebranded and taken one of their companies called Landfall Publishing, and they've changed its name and made it public. One of the things that we pointed out in our video that they apparently didn't like us pointing out, now it's public. They decided, what we're going to do? We're going to name this company Evil Landfall.
With a question mark. Why it has to have a question mark, I really don't know.
It's because they're saying, ha ha, we're evil, because they were getting criticism for supporting Wings Interactive and hiding all this stuff. And so I'm guessing they decided to embrace it.
Landfall at Landfall Games, April 8th. We made a publisher to only publish our own games. We called it evil because spreadsheets and contracts are evil, and some evil people have got to do it.
Gonna call BS.
I just think it doesn't make any sense.
And by the way, the little video there plays. It has the logo open its mouth and smile with teeth. And on the side, you'll see all these people here, right, with little devil horns.
That is the Evil Landfall team.
So explain to me. So look, we can't confirm this is because of us, but it sounds really weird that you would out of nowhere be like, gonna call our publishing brand evil. It's because paperwork is evil. No, it's because you were getting criticism for being called, bad from from the fact you were supporting these kinds of games and hiding things and blocking people who criticized you. So you decided, what we're gonna do? We're gonna embrace the criticism and own it.
Yeah,
that's my opinion anyway.
And just imply that you worship Satan for so subtly and whatever.
Because evil means Satan, right? Don't take our word for it, guys, because we actually have the article that they have released along with this information. And we are going to go through and we are going to read through this article for you right now.
Yes.
And we're going to figure out exactly what this evil landfall is. And I want to make very clear, we are not joking. They literally have named themselves Evil Landfall.
With a question mark.
Evil Landfall is the latest publishing label from an indie developer. The developer behind Peak has launched a publishing arm. Christian Leonardo, the new CEO of Evil Landfall, explains all. If you watched this year's Landfall Day stream on April 1st, you might have spotted an odd moment where Landfall's logo split into two with the familiar white logo on the left and a red logo saying Evil Landfall on the right. It wasn't a gag, but the reveal of Landfall's new publishing arm. The developer of Peak and Content Warnings has been publishing its own games for a while, but now the international folks in charge of publishing have announced themselves as a separate entity that will be providing funding for external games in addition to publishing Landfall's own titles.
Kristen Lee Naidu, that's how I'm pronouncing it how it's spelled.
I don't care. I do not care.
Who was head of publishing at Landfall, is now CEO of Evil Landfall. We are 7 people in total, she told GameIndustry.biz. Of that team, 4 are actually women, which is pretty awesome. And it's pretty cool that they've asked me to be the CEO, which is pretty significant because I'm South African, I'm a woman, and I'm fairly young as well. You do not represent my mother's home country.
Question. Hi. So how does that make you qualified to be in charge of games?
It doesn't.
I'm waiting.
Technically, it isn't really new. In fact, Evil Landfall was established as a separate entity for Landfall's publishing operations around 3 years ago.
Weird.
We realized that the publishing team and the business side of things was its own self-sustaining company, explained Naidu. But in reality, the two companies were inextricably intertwined. We still have founders from Landfall as part of the Evil Landfall team as well.
Evil Landfall didn't reveal its existence to the world 3 years ago because there was no reason to. There was no reason to. It only published Landfall's own games after all. Okay, so then my question is,
was 3 years ago when we exposed them?
No. But here's the question. If they've been publishing games for years, what was the problem of being us pointing out that you guys were connected? I'm curious because you're announcing it. I don't get it. So you guys are in the same location as Wings Interactive, Vingar Interactiva.
Literally the exact same address.
And so clearly you funded them and clearly they're running out of there. So my question is, why couldn't you have just gone public with that? Are we not supposed to know this? I don't understand why it's a problem that we pointed out that you're connected to another company. It doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. So with the games that we invest in, I particularly ask, has anybody played this? Have you got this in front of the audience? And how have they responded to it? Usually badly. These days, we think it's a really important part of the development. I think that too many developers develop their game secretly for several years and just go with it. without showing it to anyone, and that doesn't always go very well.
You think?
But if you get your game in front of people, they'll probably give you feedback that will steer you in the right direction early on, or you'll just get called a bigot.
Wait. I'm going to read that again. But if you get your game in front of people, they'll probably give you feedback that will steer you in the right direction early on. Wow. Much gamnig was done here. Wow. What a
Very
profound
gamnig.
statement. Honey.
Very gamnig.
Very gamnig.
This show they do is called Gaming for the Culture, right?
I mean, that's what it says in the top right corner.
Okay, because I think it was misspelled in the intro.
Really? Let's go back and look at it. Hold on. Let's see if we can catch it.
Oh my god, I'm right. I was right. Gamnig for the culture.
Gamnig for the culture. Gamnig.
Oh my god.
Guys, did you know that if you put your game in front of people, they might give you feedback on it that might help you?
Yeah, weird how that works.
Wow. 10 out of 10 advice. So here's my final thoughts on this. I honestly believe, and this is just my opinion, this is clearly meant to also fight back against criticism, which you've gotten. And look, nobody said you were doing anything malicious. We are pointing out that you clearly have an arm of your studio, which is in the same location where you literally funded them, that are funding games for diverse audiences, whatever. So how about maybe, I don't know, using that? But you don't want to. For some reason, we're not allowed to point out that you're connected with that studio. I wonder why.
Probably because there's something fishy going on.
Share with your crew, escape life's hell. From spooky memes to advice obscure, here's your dark solace of humor as a cure.